Okay, so we want to model these dudes. It's unfreeze all. I'm just gonna shift drag a copy of my reference over here and then hit E on my keyboard. Alright, so I hit E on my keyboard and then I can just rotate this guy 180 degrees because I just want these guys. Alright. So they're just three. This is pretty simple. These just it just looks like three little spheres with a little noise on them, and then their shoes, and then their little antennae, and then their cutesy little eyes. All right, let us tackle these adorable little creepy things in the name of Halloween. All right, let's do this. So I would start by first, let's freeze this. Freeze this selection. Now our world is upside down. Now it looks like this goob is flying instead of getting sucked down. It looks like he's happy to fly though, which is always fun. Just remember, this is how we all feel in 2020, guys. This is how we all feel in 2020, like this goober right here. Don't know where anything's going, but it's all good, guys. It's all good. All right. So normally, you would start with a sphere. Let's go in the front view. Normally, you'd start with a sphere, but I want to show you guys another technique because there are two types of sphere in that you can make inside of 3ds Max and most 3D software. And the reason that there's two types of spheres is because of the way the geometry is. And this is one of those things that you guys should definitely start keeping in mind whenever you're making something, is the geometry flow, how the geometry is flowing in that object. So I just made this sphere right here. But if I hit F4, you can see how my geometry is positioned and how it starts from this pole. The way the sphere is made is it starts from a pole and they draw out these edges and these verts, and they're, this is how they're connected. So it's the shape that it's kind of like a fan. It's fanning out, right? That's the geometry shape of this. But this geometry style isn't very conducive to all sorts of modeling, right? If I wanted to do things to this, I am stuck with this geometry shape, and it's gonna affect how all of my effects, my modeling, my sculpting, and stuff will work on them. So artists oftentimes they'll make a different kind of sphere out of a box, and I'll show you what the difference is. So I'll add, let's do just 11, 0, Control C. So I'll make it a perfect square. All right. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, let's add 20 by 20 by 20. All right, we're gonna add 20 sides to this. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into our modifier. We're gonna do a spherify, and that's gonna spherify our mesh. It's very spherify right there. It's a very technical term, as you can see. Spherify. Well, it takes our quads and it kind of explodes them and turns them into a sphere, right? And we can turn down the percentage of it. So a lot of times artists will start with a sphere like this. So let's do just the turbo smooth. So the moment we turbo smooth, you can't tell anything's going on. So like these are two, right? They're literally both spheres. Both are spheres. The only difference is the way our geometry is shaped in there. So let me show you. Let's turn on black wireframes. I'm on the keyboard to get our materials up, and let's throw some modeling material on there. So look at our geometry here, right? We don't have this fanning out that ends in a point. What we have is quads everywhere, right? Everything ends in a quad, right? And this is much more conducive to modeling. And I'll show you as I go around, because, you know, I can make this, and I'll make these little dudes as well, since we're here, if I've got the time at the end. So I'll show you what I mean. So now, instead of using this guy, I'm going to use this guy. So I'm going to hold down shift and drag. I'm going to make this guy a copy. And I'm going to just scale this guy down. So I'm going to Alt and X. I'm going to scale this guy down to where it matches the head of our little dude over here. So I'm going to turn off that turbo smooth so that I don't have as much geo, and I can see through a little better, and I can just scale it down a little more. Scale it down. All right. So that's our little dude. That's his head. And we're going to start, we're going to start it small. So you can tell he's got like those little eyes, little beady eyes, and then he's got a little smile, and then he's got his nose kind of pulled out a little bit, and that's all, that's all we're gonna do for this guy. So so let me just show you what I mean by that. So let me throw a noise on this. Noise, and let's throw X, Y, Z, okay. Now let's copy that same one, just paste it here. All right. All right, you see how those poles are starting to affect how that noise is working? All right, because of where the poles are, if I start turning this up, we get something much, much, much smoother, right? Because everything is quad geometry, it's not gonna break the mesh as easy, and we're not meeting at that pole. So now, I'm just gonna throw an edit poly modifier on here. Okay, so let's turn off F4. Let's turn off all X. Let's do F4 now. And let's see. In our verts, we can paint deformations. Now, this is another tool right here. So you can paint deformations. So you can do push and pull, and what that is like it's like a very low version of sculpting. So I'm just gonna reduce the brush size. And then the push and pull size. and you guys will see. So like, just 1 or 8. I'll reduce my brush strength to like 0.2, so I don't want it. All right. So if you guys look now, let's see. So now I can, right, like I was in a sculpting software or something, I can start pushing and pulling that geometry, right? So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use this for is just gonna use that to kind of sculpt what I see in the face. So, you know, like he's got this little nosy kind of thing right there. And if I hold down shift, I think it's command control, or is it alt? Alt does the opposite, right? And then shift smooths it out, and then just regular clicking pulls it out, right? So, you know, sometimes just don't need a lot, just need something. So instead, what I'm gonna do is just turn off this edit poly. I'm gonna take this one off because I don't like what I did. I was just trying to show. And that's the beauty of, you know, having an edit poly on. Now I can go back. I don't have to be stuck there. So let's do our push and pull again. But this time I'm going to use it on the faces so I can see. I don't have to be in the middle of those verts. So now, let's just take this all the way down to like a 1 or 2. And let's do push and pull value down. Now let's do this like 0.2. Alright, so you don't even need ZBrush, you know, if you're doing like just very simple forms like this. Alright, so let's increase this brush size a little bit, because the first thing I'm going to make is this little nose part, so I'll just make it like right here. Increase the brush size again because it kind of protrudes out a little more like that. Alright, so okay. And then the eyes seem to recess into here, like so. Right. So those like that. Then he's got those little things, and then he's got the little antennae. Alright, and now I'll just reduce this down quite a bit. And then let's do, oh, so he's got this. It looks like he's got a little smile, right? He's got a little smile in there. So I'm holding down Alt, right? And this will do the opposite. And I want to reduce this even more. Let's do the strength of 0.1. Maybe we turn on, okay, maybe we turn on the turbo smooth. All right, I'm going to turn on the turbo smooth, and I'm going to add another edit poly modifier on top. And do the same thing, and we're going to go to our push pull modifier because I think I need more geometry for this part. So I'm going to do this push pull again. Let's move this. Let's do P. And then let's just scale this this guy down all the way, man. So brush strength 0.1, brush size all the way down. So, almost. And push pull value, let's bring that down. And I kind of want to, yeah, like something like that, where it's like a little smile. Let's maybe make it a little smaller. It's like this. And reduce my brush size even more. There we go. I think it needs to be like right there because that's like under his chin. I'm gonna end up just, probably symmetrying it anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. And I can just go relax this. Let's relax this guys a little bit. Just gonna relax it a little bit. Let's go back to push and pull. Strength is too much again. I can relax. Alright. So we've got a little smile. He's looking kind of cool. He's got those little antennae at the top, so I think he's got a little bulge that opens up to them, so I'm just gonna reduce the radius. I'm holding on Control and Shift, and it just reduces the radius, so I don't have to go back and forth from there. But let's reduce this to 0.1, 0.2, and then that's way too much. No, I'm gonna increase this radius a little bit more. Reduce this brush strength to 0.1. Yeah, until I get something like that. Because I think, you know, the antennae are going to come out of something. Yeah. Now I can, if I hit Alt, kind of flattens it out a little bit. Right? And then the antennae are going to come out of there. I could try to pull the antennas out of there, but I think that'd be a lot. I think I'll just make them as separate pieces and just jam those bad boys in there. Okay. So the next thing I want to make is the eyes. So let's turn off push and pull. Let's see what we got. Geometry wise. Let's see. So the next thing I'll do, I'll just go in here, make I would actually make them out of spheres. I'm just gonna grab this one that we just made. Instead of using our regular sphere, I'm gonna grab this one again. Hold down Shift and drag this way, make a copy of it. And now I can just let's see. Let's turn off Turbo Smooth. Sphere files fine. Let's take it to add an edit poly on top of this guy. And then select. I'll go to the top view. I'm gonna select this backside. I'm gonna delete it because I want to use this as the eye. So it's gonna select this guy, hit F on the keyboard, and then zoom in. Now I've got this guy, the half. I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place it over this eye, so I can see the dimensions and stuff. So just hit R, scale it down. Bring this guy up like so. Alright. So from top to bottom, right, like, you know what I'm saying? Now you're just scaling to figure out the size of this guy. So then I can just boom like that. Like so. And this eye is very protrudy, so I might want to scale it in that way. So I've got, you know, less distance that way. So if I hit F again, make sure, right? If I rotated it, it would fit. All right, so I know that's right. So now I can just drag this guy back over here onto our new character's, our actual character's face. Let's hit Alt X, and let's make the materials for these guys. Actually, let's hit M. The eyes are yellow. No, that's the head. The head is purple. So let's make a new character for this guy, a new color. And then you know, you guys know the drill. My color picker pulls up, select the color, select this guy, like this guy. Alright, that purple's fine with me. I'm gonna use this guy on the head, like so. And then I'm gonna use this yellow guy on the eye. Okay. And now we need to now fit our eye upon our character. So another thing we can do is just go to F on this guy. So I'm trying to find the center line. It's this guy. And then I can just symmetry this guy. So let's do the symmetry. Symmetry modifier. 1 on the keyboard. I think it's actually this guy. So that guy's a symmetry line. So now I know that it is identical left and right. Just like that. So now, let's go PZ. Zoom in on this guy. Hit E. I'm just going to rotate my eye like so. And just pull that guy in there. So like so. Alright. So we've got our eye in place. And then we can just mirror the X. Let's make it an instance. Okay. And then like that. Cut ourselves a second eye. And then the antennae. Okay. Okay, so now let's make this antenna. And all I need to do is make one and I'm good. So I'm making it out of a line, like so. So now that I've made my little line, just gonna grab this base, make sure it's jammed in there. And now I can just enable it in the renderer and in the viewport. Right, you guys know the drill by now. So just gonna pull this guy in here, like so. Hit F on the keyboard, select this guy. No. I want to select my line. And if I hit 1 on the keyboard, it's gonna take me to the vertice mode. So now that I'm in the vertice mode, I just want to drag and jam this antennae inside its head. Yeah, there we go. And then I'm gonna reduce the thickness a little bit, because we're gonna still edit this. Right now I'm just making sure that got some nice bend in my stuff. Make sure, like so. Alright. So my antennae is sticking out of my head. Alright. Like so. And if I want, so this is the cool thing about the line tools. I can do a quad cap and then include the amount of segments that I wanted to quad cap it to. So now I can give myself kind of like you know, that end piece that he has going over there. So yeah, just like that. Let's make sure that this guy's in here. both sides. It's an interpolation. Let's do. I want to do a low amount because it's going to be easier to manipulate it in the next step if I have a lower amount. Right, so I'm going to do 3, and then let's just throw an edit poly on it to show you guys what I'm talking about. So edit poly, I'm going to throw an edit poly on this guy right here, and I'm going to select these guys. What I'm going to use now is called a soft selection. And what a soft selection does is it allows us to select a range, between a range and affect that range. It's easier to show you guys than to tell you guys. So right now I've got this selected, and you can see that I have a fall off range that I can affect here. So now if I reduce this fall off range, you can see this color changing. So it's saying that whatever you do to these, it's going to affect it from the orange to the green to that blue, right? And I can change how far my fall off goes and how close it is. So I can be like, it's right here, it only affects these guys, or I can make it fall off in the middle. So now all I need to do is just select this guy right here, and as you can see, if I start to scale it up, right, I'll start to get so let me show you the difference in just scaling it without soft selection. So if I scale it without soft selection, that's what I'll get, something like that. But now if I use soft selection, I want to affect it quite a bit. So like I want to affect all of those. So now if I scale it up here, then I can go up like that. Right, so it's more of a range, and it's giving this guy that that iconic look that he's got. Right, you see how it's kind of skinny at the bottom, and then it gets real fat at the top. That's what she said. Okay, let's grow it a little more. That's what she said. And let's see, soft selection, increase it just a little bit more. All right, and then you can do the same for any part too. So if I want to make this part a little bigger, right, and then I can make this internal part smaller. Right. Now, I can just file, save this. And then I can just mirror it. Mirror it on the X, hit OK. Just like that. And then I can, rotate this guy if I want. Make him look a little more fun. They're a little goofier than that. They look, they look kind of goofy, little goofy characters. I mean, it's Nintendo. What do you expect? So now let's make a new purple, and let's make the antenna purple. So just gonna click our guy here, and then now we can just make this antennae the color they're supposed to be. So we're modeling with the material, so we're giving ourselves an idea of what this stuff is going to look like in the end. Another thing I can do is after this symmetry, let's throw an edit poly modifier on it, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this middle line because I don't think it's doing anything for our stuff right now. So now let's see what it looks like. So it's got this weird, yeah, it's kind of smooth now. Had that weird line in the middle. Still kind of does. We'll fix that. But yeah. So look at our little dude. Alright, the next thing is his body. Bow body. I hate this so much. Alright, let's do this. So his body's pretty much it's just another sphere. It's just a sphere jammed on a sphere. And then his little shoes, his little zapatos. Boop. Make it a copy. Yeah, this is when I might actually prefer to use this other sphere we have here for the shoes, because the geometry is more conducive to the shoe shape. So it's F3, because it's kind of it has that flat bottom. So I'm just gonna hit E, F4. I'm gonna rotate it this way 90 degrees so that I've got this hemisphere line right here. And then I can just go here, reduce the radius quite a bit. All right. Reduce it. So if I Alt X, I can see through. And just gonna yeah, you can even yeah, so you can even but alas, we're just gonna do it our own way. We're just gonna throw an edit poly modifier on this. And select this bottom pieces right here. We'll just delete them. Still delete them. What? Slice? Is there a slice in the middle? Cut. Cut that out. Oh, I put this chop slice on. So what is that? Okay. Let's not do that. F on the keyboard, select this bottom, guys. Delete. Alright, now we should have just this bottom piece. We can now kind of just I'm just gonna do this cap and then collapse it. Just gonna squish this guy a little bit like this so it looks more like a shoe. Turn this around. So let's hit M on the keyboard and let's make the red for the shoe. Color pick the red. Hit OK. Okay, now that's been assigned. Alt X. Let's get the bodies purple. And do the darker one so it differentiates the bodies. Big red clown shoes. Let's make it an instance. So, let's make this for this bad boy. Alright. Okay. Another thing, I'm just gonna group these guys together as the head. And then now I can just rotate them together. Just gotta jam it in there. Okay. So that is this guy. Alright. So anybody have any questions for me? Let's do clear on. Hollow Smith. Turbo Smith. Alright, so if you guys have no questions for me, we can adjourn the class and you guys can go take your quizzes.
Will do.
Alright.
Have a good day, sir. Oh, I guess a good weekend as well.
Oh yeah, this is it for us guys. Yeah, this is it for the week. So